Hello! Welcome back to the channel. I want to start with a question to everyone watching. Raise your hand if you love reading, but you are definitely not doing it as much as you want. I do. It's just that I always want to read, but you just kind of get in the habit of going on your phone and watching TV shows and doing a bunch of other things with your time instead of reading. And what I want to try next week is to create a habit, create a routine, a reading routine. Because my current routines mostly consists of picking up a screen that brings a lot more instant gratification than picking up a book. For the next week, I'm gonna try different things, different routines, different habits, different times of the day. Maybe it'll give you some ideas on how to build your reading routine and just create a chill time for yourself. I'm gonna try reading during breakfast. I want to do, reading before bed. And I also want to try a few different things for listening to audiobooks that doesn't just involve listening to audiobooks while I'm cooking. So you can come along with me on the ride as we try to build a routine, create a habit to make time for the thing that we love doing, which in this case is reading. Okay, let's see how it goes. Hello. I'm very tired. I had a very, very long day just working on my internship. Like during the day, I just work on my internship from home. I do a research internship and to finish off my master's degree. So tonight, I actually want to do the little reading before bed thing. I'm talking about it as if it's some kind of a grand, interesting, grand invention. Oh my gosh, reading before bed. Have you heard of it? But yeah, that's the routine I want to try today because honestly, I've been going to bed so late the last few days and I want to go to bed in time. I do sometimes read before bed. It's just usually I go to bed too late to read before bed because I'm like, oh, I would like to read before bed, but it's already very late, so I just need to immediately go to sleep and I don't have time to read before bed anymore. Today, I want to start and try out that little ritual, that little routine. So I'm gonna try to get myself to stop doing whatever I'm doing at 11 o'clock at night and then go to bed and just read for at least half an hour before I go to sleep. The book I'm currently reading is A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summons. Basically, this is about a serial killer woman. Wow, okay. I just flipped through the pages and it literally stopped on a page. My eyes landed on a sentence that said, "Giovanni, I killed him and I ate his liver." You know, this sounds like the perfect bedtime story to me. I don't know about you. Hopefully I will not start dreaming about serial killers and cannibals. I'm just gonna have a normal evening like any evening, which usually just includes having nice dinner and playing video games. And then I will make sure I go to bed early and read something before I go to bed. Hello, also I just wanted to mention something that I was just thinking about. I'm kind of starting my nightly routine for as far as I have one, but another habit that you guys know I've been trying to stick with for years is doing yoga regularly. One of the things I've been thinking about is, how people always say like if you want to make like a habit, you have to like tie it to another habit that you already have so that whenever you do one thing, you will automatically do the other thing. So currently what I'm doing is every time I finish my internship work during the day, I will immediately end my working day by doing yoga to relax. I've only been doing this for like 2 days, so I can't really say if it's working or not. And for nighttime reading, the reason I think it works for so many people is because you take something that you're already doing, going to bed and having a nighttime routine, and just stick reading into that. So that's, I guess, what I'm trying today. I'm just gonna do my daily, nightly stuff, just how I spend my usual evenings. First, I finished my work, so now I'm gonna do yoga. And then I will shower and have dinner and just chill. And then at some point I will read and hopefully not go to bed too late. Now, as I expected, it is late. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that, but now I am still going to read before bed because that's what we decided on, but this is kind of what I was afraid of would happen. It's very late and I should be going to sleep. I've got an orange light going on. I don't think that looks very good on camera, but it's nice to the real life eye. I don't know, I guess I want to simulate the sun going down. Yet again, I don't know where I left off because yet again, I did not put a bookmark. I really thought I would remember where I was. Good morning. Obviously, I'm very tired. I'm tempted to conclude that reading before bed isn't my thing, but I probably need to conclude that I just need to go to bed earlier. But I'm just having breakfast. I always have some yogurt with cereal. And currently, I'm having like an apple pumpkin raisin cereal, which has kind of been my favorite lately. And cup of Earl Grey tea. This morning I actually wanted to try reading during breakfast because I see a lot of people do that, and I'm kind of the person that in the morning I eat my breakfast and I just watch some random YouTube video. But maybe my mornings would be a lot more calm and nicer if I didn't immediately hop behind the screen and just read a book for a bit. I don't really have a lot of time in the mornings because I'm always kind of in a rush in the morning, so I have like maybe 10 to 15 minutes to have my breakfast, but maybe I can still use that time to read. This is the book to read while having breakfast because yesterday she talked about killing someone and eating their liver, so who knows what I'm gonna read about while I have my breakfast. Very, very tasty. Tasty. So, I didn't really expect it, but I actually really enjoyed the reading while having breakfast. I only read like 5 pages maybe because I don't have breakfast for a very long time. Maybe I might take a little bit longer tomorrow if I can find the time to plan that in. It was actually quite nice to just start the day by not also looking at the screen because I spent the rest of the day looking at the same screen for my internship work. So starting the day with a book is actually pretty nice. It was, however, this is gonna sound so silly, it's difficult to hold open the book with one hand when you need the other hand to eat. So I think if you have like a Kindle, it will be a lot easier because you can just scroll, right? Like as if you're on your phone. But yeah, I guess that's just a skill I have to develop, you know, like reading with one hand so I can do it while eating. But actually right now we're going to try another method of getting reading into the routine, and it is by trying to kill two birds with one stone. And that is because there is this other hobby thing that I've been wanting to do more, but I somehow constantly decide to not spend time on it even though I do want to do it. And that is, well, I'm pulling it behind my back as if I like kept it there as like a reveal, but it just happens to be here and I happen to sit here. Anyway, I'm talking about embroidering. It's one of those hobby things that I bought on a whim in 2020 during the first lockdowns, and then I was really into it for like 5 days and then I never touched it again. But I wanted to get into it again because I do really like it and it's like a fun crafty little work. Oh no, a thread came loose. How? Now embroidering of course is a fun thing to just do on its own, but I tend to not do that very quickly because the silence in my brain is deafening when I don't do anything else while embroidering. So I thought it would be fun to try a little cute embroidery session while I listen to an audiobook. I already have this that I started a few weeks ago. It looks really bad right now. I don't know if you can see the sketch lines, but I started a sketch of No Face from the movie Spirited Away, which I really like, and I just wanted, I don't know, I can spend like so long thinking about what I want to draw or what I want to embroider, and in order to circumvent that, the easiest thing for me to do is to just draw something from a movie that I like. So this is just going to be No Face with some flowers around him. So we have our design that I want to work on. The next question is, what audiobook am I going to listen to? Actually, almost all of the books that I want to read right now, I can't find on audiobook. Like, they're not available on the audiobook apps that I use. I have a few romance books that are available, like Beach Read and The Ex-Hex, but I'm not really in the mood for a romance right now. I actually tried to listen to She Who Became the Sun the other day, which I'm very interested in. Epic high fantasy with, I think it's also LGBT. It's just, usually I listen to audiobooks when I cook. And so I have to focus on the cooking. Usually that's possible when you're just listening to like a romance book or a contemporary book. But when I'm listening to fantasy, it's like it's lost on me. When I'm sitting down with a fantasy book, I have like the mental capacity to, you know, visualize everything vividly, which makes the experience of reading a fantasy book like so much better for me. But when I'm listening to an audiobook and I'm cooking, I can't really do that because I'm also focusing on the things that are in front of me. Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney is one that I also still really want to read because I loved Normal People. And there's also this random book that I saw on Storytel, the audiobook app that I use, called Ecstasia. It's like a super new YA fantasy. Oh no, it's a YA horror about a girl who joins a coven? Honestly, pretty tempted to just try this. I do like that my audiobook app just like recommends me random books that I've never heard of, but that are probably like their algorithm says that I might like them. And usually it's a great way to like find new books that I personally haven't heard of. Oh, wait. Shit. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I am the worst V. Schwab fan. I didn't even realize her new book came out. And they already have it on Storytel. And it's only 8 hours? That's a very short book. Gallant by V. Schwab. I'm afraid if I listen to it on audiobook, I'm not gonna enjoy it as much as I could if I read it on paper. But I'm just really in an audiobook mood, man. Oh, it has like an abandoned manor and all. Okay, I think I know what book I want to listen to. That was an easy choice, easy choice. My headphones. I'm just focusing on his body, so that's just gonna be black and white. And I think some purple for the things around his eye thingies. Yeah. Okay. I am going to bed at a slightly more reasonable hour today. Slightly more reasonable. So I'm just gonna read a little bit more than this. Hello, it's very sunny today. That makes me very happy. The embroidering while listening to an audiobook has really been a great solution actually, because I've been wanting to embroider more. But the reason I rarely embroider is because I want to have like something to do while I do it. And I also want to listen to audiobooks more. But I don't often listen to audiobooks because I need something to do while I listen to the audiobook. So those two problems are each other's solution. Every time now that I feel like listening to an audiobook and I don't want to like do the dishes or clean my room, which are great, you know, it is a good extra motivation to clean, but if I don't want to clean, then I can just pick up the embroidery hoop and do some embroidering while listening to an audiobook. I'm only half an hour into the story for Gallant. Even though I love spooky manor stories, I would argue are one of the better spooky stories. I'm just hoping for a little hint of originality. And I also enjoyed reading in the morning again, although I will say again, same as reading before bed, reading in the morning I read like maybe 10 pages and that's it. Hello! So I was thinking, it's actually really beautiful weather outside again, so now that I'm finished with work, I should go take a walk and listen to an audiobook. Did I just discover the art of taking a walk? I know, riveting, mind-blowing. Taking care of your mental health? You can do that? They let you do that? Wow. So I mean the sun is actually already setting, but I'm gonna soak in those last little sunbeams like Bella coming to Forks and listen to a little bit of an audiobook while I go on my walk. Okay, so the sun is actually already setting, unfortunately. But it does cast a really beautiful light on the boats here and the water. I also just swung by the grocery store and got myself a pizza for dinner. Yum. I love going on walks, but I think I actually don't necessarily like listening to audiobooks when going on walks. I do sometimes, but I noticed that I mostly just want to, especially if it's like a short walk, I prefer to just focus on the flowers, the people, looking around you, you know, romanticizing your own life, realizing that everyone's having a really fun Friday evening and you're just having a walk on your own. So although I do sometimes enjoy listening to an audiobook when I go on a walk, I don't think I necessarily want to make it part of my routine. I do want to make the walk part of my routine, but not necessarily the audiobook listening. Sometimes it actually is fun to be in the real world. I am having some thoughts about Gallant by V. Schwab, but I think we'll save that for tomorrow because I want to eat my pizza before it gets cold. We need to talk. I think this kind of fits into this video about reading routines because of course part of the reading routine is picking up a book and then finishing it and picking up a new book. So I just want to have a quick talk about deciding to not finish a book if you're not enjoying it. I am not really into Gallant by V. Schwab. It's not that it's a bad book. It's very reminiscent of Neil Gaiman. I think there are a lot of people that would really enjoy Gallant. I just noticed that the writing style is really not vibing with me because it's very plot-based, and so far I haven't gotten a single thought from the main character. I have no idea what's going on in her mind and what makes her an interesting character to read about. The plot also isn't original enough that it's interesting enough to just make me keep reading for the plot, so I kind of just feel like picking up another audiobook and leaving this book behind for now. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this. If you're reading a book and you're not really into it, you just kind of push yourself through until you finish it because you feel like you should at least finish it, right? I mean, you have it now, so why not finish it? But I think I'm just gonna decide to not finish it and move on to another audiobook that I will be more interested in listening to. Because that, I think, is often the main thing that can disrupt your reading routine and get you in a reading slump, as you might call it, like not really reading as much as you usually do. It's because you're stuck with this book that you're not really into, and then you're pushing yourself through it, and it's making it really hard for you to pick up a book and actually read. Whereas if you're reading a book that you're actually into, you wouldn't be having such a hard time with your routine, right? You would just want to keep reading that book. So in honor of this video of me trying to build a reading routine, I'll just decide that I'm not going to continue reading Gallant by V. Schwab. Maybe I'll pick it up another time, but for now, I'm just not feeling it. So I'm going to be listening to some kind of other audiobook that I'll decide on later. Anyway, the conclusion of this video is that I personally really enjoyed reading during breakfast. It's something that I'm gonna keep doing. And I think I found a way to combine like my crafty work embroidery with reading by listening to an audiobook while I embroider. I hope you also got some ideas maybe on what would be a great way to incorporate reading more into your routine, or any other hobby really. In the end, we just want to have fun, do the things that we love without getting distracted all the time. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, you can subscribe to the channel because we'd love to have you here. You can also follow me on social media. Anyway, that was it for this video. I really hope you had a wonderful time, that you will have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon in another video. Goodbye!